Hello friends, neighbors, John your Wish Neighbor here. Welcome down the Nook and welcome to a pretty exciting video. We are going to tackle these four excellent, tasty, fantastic Canadian ryes, but I'm doing them blind. We're going to walk through Sons of Van. This is their new wheated release. They're permanent, always on the shelf release, and we're going to go over, okay, I'm not doing these in a kind of geographical order. This is New Brunswick, Downriver, I think it's Moonshine, Moon Creek. I think Moon Creek Distillery. Sorry about that, guys. And then we're going to go to Guelph. This is John Sleeman and Sons. This is their Cooper's Rye. And we'll talk about this. Lot 40, but it's the dark oak, right? Started in number 2, finished in number 4 charred oak. So this is a rye monster. These are bold ryes. I think the lowest up here is 75% rye, 80% rye. These are both 100. This is all rye and all the flavor, but the key to what I'm about to do is that this is blind. I absolutely have bias for these bottles. I already think I know what I like and what I don't. This time I've asked my wife to pour them blind. The key is in here. There are color dots on all these glasses. Let's get into Canadian rye and figure out, at least right now, what's my favorite rye? Do you agree? 3, 4. Thanks for staying with me. I couldn't be more excited for this. I love Canadian ryes, and these are some of my favorites right now. I'll go through the bottle so you can see them, and then we're going to get into the taste because I don't know what's in what glass. Starting here, this is Sons of Vancouver. This is their wheated rye. It's a 3 to 5 year old rye, ex-bourbon new oak, and it's 75% rye and 25% wheat. Then we're going, it sounds like I'm going to go in order. No, but also up here is this Downriver. Downriver is an 80% rye and a 20% barley. So in some ways, that's why I actually physically put them up here, because I thought, this is a rye wheat, this is a rye barley. How does that come together? Oh, I should say 50.5%, 47%. Then we're going to talk about somewhere in this mix. It's not an order, actually. This is Cooper's Rye from John Sleeman's Sons. It's a 48%, 100% rye. But what's interesting is this is Canadian oak, new oak. I believe the rest of these oaks are playing in more American oaks. And this was coopered by Quinn, John Sleeman's son, I believe. But it's coopered by Quinn for sure, and it is Canadian white oak. Also in one of these glasses is the largest production run up here. It's lot 40, but it's lot 40 dark oak. This begins its life in number 2, ends its life in number 4 char, all virgin oak, and this is a 48%er. So it's interesting. This is where a friend said, you know what, if you're gonna do anything, you've got to compare these two, 100% ryes, 48%ers, new oak. Definitely, I could have done just that, but I have been tasting these ryes, and I'll tell you, I'm really liking them. But which one is my favorite? So I've got color dots. I've got a black, a teal, a yellow, gold, and a blue purple. Okay, so those are my colors. They're wildly different in color, and I don't know from color point of view. I know right on the bottle, this one says non-chill filtered. Traditionally, Sons of Van doesn't color their whiskeys whatsoever. They have filtered every now and then, so I don't know. This could be filtered. Many of the releases are non-chill and natural color. I don't know because it's not on the bottle, which is interesting because they tell me everything else on the bottle. The rest I don't know. Big house, I assume everything bad because it's a big house. Let's get into the nosing. So let's first start with black. Oh, this is going to be good and hard. Spicy brown sugar. We'll move over to teal. Oh, far more dill, mint. Those menthols, grassy notes of rye. This is a grassy rye. This was a brown sugar rye. Moving over to gold. This is a dark cherry, ripe apple. This is a fruity rye. Now this has some of that candy apple, but it's also a icing sugar sweet rye. Yeah, high sweetness apricot fruit notes, like sweet, punchy, sweet in that, yeah, wow. Okay, so from the nose, this is by far the roundest and just sweet burnt brown sugar. This, like if you like grassy rye, you're going with dill. What a great teal. It's gonna help me remember my notes. Dark fruits, sweet. Wow, peach, juicy peach, Penticton Peach Festival. Woo. Okay, so those are the noses. I'm gonna take a quick break and I'm gonna write down my ranking on noses. Haven't done that in a while. If I'm ranking on nose, again, it would really be, what do you like? Right now, the nose on this black is drawing me in. It's pastry, it's cinnamon buns, and I'm like, that's going to be a nice round. Very sweet, ripe fruits, and classic rye. So what are you feeling? Far more than ranking. Right now, I'm kind of liking this one first. But I just hesitate to really dig into ranking until I've had it in my palate. But wow, this is maybe more about what you prefer and what I prefer in the moment than what is the best rye, because these so far are really different. Let's get into the palate. So I start with the nose there. Let's go this way. I don't know percentages. Lowest 47, highest 50.5. These both 48. That's a difference, but not enough to know. Maybe we'll see. So we'll try this blue dot. Nice drawing, spicy. It's pulling together as a rye. The nose was so sweet, I was thinking it was something else. A little bit of candy, a little bit of sugars, light peppering, light cinnamon. Moving through to gold. Cheers. Much fuller across the palate, pushing out the edges, hugging me down the back. More oak, drying but oaky. Oak tannins, oak structure, black teas. Going over to teal. Just so classic rye that many people have out there. Like a little more American rye style, I would say. Cheers. So much flavor. Just punches out of that palate. Spice. Green apples. Sweet nuts. Drying a little bit now. Hot. Straight black pepper now. Burning now. Okay. Young. I really don't know the ages up here. But this one really feels young. Going with this black dram. Cheers. Creamiest, smoothest, roundest. Lots of cinnamons, lots of pastries, lots of bready notes. Far less oaks. It's there. All of these have oaks. All of them have new oaks in them. Now we're getting the rye dry, the rye black pepper. The finish is rye. But the palate is nutty and chewy and bready. Interesting. Gonna try them and take some notes. This is really hard in terms of like, what do I really think is the best rye? What starts to happen in these tastings is I start to hone in on flavors. Then I have to rank the flavors. Like, what do I actually really like versus like, what am I tasting? Because I start with just, what am I tasting? What am I tasting? What's that note? What's going on? That's how I approach this. I tell you, going in, I want to say without being blind, I have probably a bias. There's no probably. James, Jenna, and Max, I've been there. Small group, passionate about what they do. Once you've been to a place and shared their story, it's tough not to really gravitate toward the quality they know they're putting in here. So I definitely have a bias to Sons of Vancouver, because I would say, I think we're friends. And I have yet to meet the people behind making any of these. So that's my biggest bias up here that I'm trying to remove by this blind. Coming in, I have been very interested about this Cooper's Rye. I've been tasting it not blind and thinking, wow, I really like this rye. This is really good. Now, what's interesting is the Canadian Whiskey Awards, gave this a gold and gave this like a bronze or something quite a bit lower, which is surprising to me because I like all of the ryes up here. But that's their ranking. And I, since opening, have been loving this. Hey, and Trainee and C, if you guys have seen Trainee and C, they're just a ton of fun. Go follow them. And in a blind, just among Sleeman, so for Sleeman's product, both of Trainee and C, absolutely blind, picked this as their favorite whiskey and talked about having so much flavor. So again, what a disconnect with the Canadian Whiskey Awards. And Lot 40, this is just a solid, always on the shelf. Well, it wasn't. I had to go buy it this week. But it's something that I have no problem putting on the shelf because it's a great, full-flavored rye. So back to us, and this blind. Approachability, sweet, balanced, bready, nutty. You're actually coming from a high rye bourbon or something like Canadian whiskey. I think this is going to be your favorite. If you love grassy rye, right from hello, you knew that would be your favorite. Roundness, general approachability, that one. Sweet, like stone fruit, unique sweetness, that's going to be your favorite, I suggest, if you get any of the tasting notes that I get. This one's also hot. This one's also young. This one feels very mature and balanced. And again, this one is the most approachable. What is my favorite? I thought coming in I was going to do, because I think I know from their taste what they are. We'll see how good I am. Let me just put them in order of where I'm liking things right now. I am going with this bready, nutty rye. Less rye-ish of all the ryes. Then probably this oaky, tannic but balanced. Then sweet. And then this grassy rye. Now, I think I know what they are based on their flavor notes. And that makes me shocked because coming in, I thought I was going to say this was number one. I don't care if it got a bronze. I thought this was number one. This was number two. Sorry, Sons of Van, right now this is number 3 and Lot 40 would pull up the rear. Again, I love all of these. But that's not what I think I have up here. I think I've got this. I think I've got this. And then I think I've got Sons of Van here, which is 3rd in the blind tasting. And I think I'm putting Cooper's at the bottom, which would actually align me with the Canadian Whiskey Awards in the sense of this might be a little less than what's going on here. But that ranking truly surprises me. Coming in, I actually thought I was going to have an upset of Cooper's Rye being number 1. I thought Sons of Van would be probably 1 or 2. I love Sons of Van, and these would be somewhere else. I would have put money that was what my palate would say. I just have to go with what I'm liking in this moment, in this today, in this middle of the day kind of place. All right, let's see how good or bad or whatever I am today. This is my flavor ranking. So, gold is Cooper's Rye. No way. Like, I just think this is wrong. And black, no way. I've put Sons of Van up front. I thought this was Downriver. I thought this had the variety of flavor notes. I thought all of those things. Well, that means blue, which had sweetness and sugars and stone fruits. I was confident that was the wheated rye because I've mentioned those notes in there. this grassy rye is the one that's mixed with barley. I have never been more wrong. I've actually lost my mind in this reveal. I have to say, I have never, ever been this categorically wrong in a tasting ever. From hello, from their nose, I went, yeah, I've had that, and it's that. And that's a problem. Because I don't even know, I petered out in terms of focus because I kept checking my notes, and I kept literally thinking, my wife's playing a prank on me. She's got to be playing a prank on me because I've got it so dead wrong. This, and I like chocolate notes, bready notes, sweetness, fullness. I would swear that I was getting that on Downriver. Downriver, I thought, oh, that barley mix, that nuttiness, what a great. According to my wife and this, I have picked Sons of Van, which is my bias, but I truly didn't believe I was picking that. And then this gold. Oh, man, that's good. Coming back, sorry, but I almost think this is number one. And coming in, I thought it was my number one. And then I thought, well, it's young, it's brash, it's flavorful, but there's a lot of oak on here. And then I started to think oak. Tons of oak, dark oak has a lot of oak, and I went that way. According to my wife, this is Cooper's. And this blue, and what did I say for blue? This one I said sweet and peach and stone fruit. And the Sons of Van for me has been that icing sugar and sweetness and that sweet, light sweet of wheat. And I thought, oh, that's Sons of Van, sorry to put you third. But it's not. It's dark oak. And then this one, which I thought was going to be my favorite, this grassy rye, during the taste, I thought, you know what, Cooper's is pretty young. This got to be Cooper's. But, I mean, this is dill and sweet dill and spicy and grassy. This is a great punchy rye, if that's what you want. It's not what I thought Downriver was. It is exactly what I thought Cooper's was. So, I don't know what to say. I've even thought right now, I got to cut this. I got to reshoot this. I got to get her to mix it up again. I can't do this. But why? Because I'm embarrassed? Because I got it wrong? I'm sorry. I'm posting this. And please be gentle as you cut me up. But this is what I tasted. This is what I ranked. And unless she's, putting a prank on me, this is what the index is. This is it. This is it. I have preferred Sons of Van, then Cooper's, then Lot 40, and down here, Downriver. What are your picks? What a wild Saturday. I am going to happily doubt myself and pour other pours and do like, really? Is this really right? For the rest of this evening. Thanks for joining me. I hope this was fun. I literally have never been this wrong. Like, I think in all my blinds, I've always gotten at least one. Often I run the table. I am 100% wrong in my guesses. I stand by my flavor notes. I truly did them blind.